Exosisters finally getting some recognition here, and what in the world is Splite doing out here? I'm betting 30% of you guys have not smashed the crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can get to 105,000 OCG Thursday edition. So Exosisters here finally getting some support. So Malphia here, or Malpha. If you control no monsters or all monsters you control are exceed, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can special summon an Ellis from your deck. You can special summon the turn you activate this effect except for Exosister monsters. And if a card or cards is moved out of either graveyard, you can special summon from your extra deck one Exosister exceed monster using this face-up card. We get the mode change with this, which is really good. And then, of course, you all know how amazing Ellis is here. Alright, probably one of the better ones here. So we have triple Malpha, triple Ellis, one Irene, triple Stella, 2 copies of Sophia, triple copies of Ash Blossom, 1 Ghost Bell, triple copies of Maxi. We have 2 copies of Effect Veiler, and we have 2 Prosperity, 2 Called by the Grave, 1 Crossover Designator, triple packs, and then we have 2 copies of Overlay Network here. So you can activate one of these effects, and this is a continuous spell card, so you can do it once per every one of your turns. So you can target one face of monster you control that has a level, special summon one monster with the same level from your hand or graveyard in defense position, but negate its effects. Okay, that's fine. Sure. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect except for exceed monsters. Okay. And then target one exceed monster you control, add 1 card attached to it to your hand. So we can just special summon, overlay, and we can pull back materials. This card's really good. We have triple Imperm, 2 Vadas, and then we have triple Latinia. So if all monsters you control are Exosister, minimum 1, pay 100, target 1 card your opponent controls or in their graveyard, and then banish it and apply this following effect. You can exceed summon using monsters you control, or if your exceed monster was special summoned previously this turn, you can banish 1 card your opponent controls. Alright, so as long as you did an exceed summon previously, you get to banish something. This card's really good. We have 1 emptiness here. Down here in the next trick, we have 2 anti-spells, 2 Dimensional Barriers, 2 Cosmic, 1 Lightning Storm, 2 Raigeki, triple Droll, 1 Retaliating Sea, 2 Nibiru with 1 Arsenal Zeus, 2 Magnifica, triple copies of Mikhails, 2 Caspitiel, 1 Baguski, 2 copies of Osophilia, 1 Jabrine, 1 Axis Code with 1 Celine, and 1 win here, wrapping up Exosisters. Now, what else we got down here? Splite Frogs. This is one of the biggest decks out of the OCG this week because this deck just gets to do full extension combo, and they gave this deck double Omni Negates between red and carrot here, which this is Spell and Trap Negate, and this is a monster Omni Negate via Tributing. It's so amazing. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. We have 1 copy of Pixies, triple copies of Jet, triple copies of Red, triple copies of Blue, triple copies of Carrot. We have triple copies of Swap Frog, triple copies of Max C, triple copies of Deep Sea Diva, 1 Rodent Totem with 1 Effect Veiler, and then we have 2 Prosperity, 2 Called by the Grave, 1 Crossover Designator, triple Splite Starter, just being able to special summon a Splite from your deck, and then you lose whatever its attack points are. Okay, easy. We have 1 Splite Smashers, triple Imperm, and 1 Emptiness. Down here in the next trick, we have 1 Almirage, 1 IP, 2 copies of the Splite Elf, 1 Hulk, 1 Cerberus with 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn with 1 Access Code, 2 copies of the Splite Starter. We have, 1 Sky Cavalry, 1 Totally Awesome, 1 Downward, and 1 Zeus. Side deck here, we have 1 Nibiru, 2 copies of Alpha, 1 Pankratops, 1 Retaliating Sea, 1 Ghost Bell, triple copies of Droll and Lockbird, 1 Lightning Storm, 2 Cosmic Cyclone, and triple copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance here, wrapping up Splite Frogs. Now remember, this is just the beginning of Pandora's box. Alright, you thought that they're doing other things down here. So now we have Splite Evil Twins. Now, this is going to act on the same premise of this, but remember, this deck wants level 2s. Alright, like that's going to be the most important thing here. Well, you know what else is very good at just producing level 2s? The Kishi Sakil stuff. Now remember, if you're not careful, you will lock yourself into Fiend, but that's fine because all these things care about is if normal or special, you can special summon with no restrictions whatsoever. Okay, I'll take that. So we have 1 copy of Artifact Scythe, 1 Lancia, triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 2 copies of Splite Jet, 1 red, 2 copies of Splite Blue, one Splite Carrot, triple copies of Maxi, triple copies of the live twin Kishisakill with one Frost, triple copies of Lilla with one copy of Lilla Treat, one copy of Effect Veiler, and then we have two Passphrase, one Entrance, two copies of Called by the Grave. We have two Droplets with one Crossout Designator, triple copies of Splite Starter with one Splite Smashers, two copies of Sunny Snitch, and then we have triple copies of Imperm here, wrapping up the main deck. Down in the next deck, we have one IP, two copies of Lilla, two copies of Kishisakill, and then we have two Splite Elf, one Dagda, one Unicorn, with one Sunny Snitch. Actually interesting to see that, like, since this isn't the main focus of the deck, we've pretty much reduced copies of this. We have two Gigantic Splite, one Centuria, one Downard, and one copy of Zeus here, wrapping up this list. And as I said, I think this list is a little bit more high risk, high reward, instead of like playing the Deep Sea Diva stuff. And either way, you've got decision trees to make in whichever regard that you want to play. And I think either variant will reward you. You just got to decide how you want to go about it. All right. The fusion pile. So Tearalaments is this really, really cool archetype. It's probably one of my favorite new engines that we got. But we were kind of curious, like, since they all have to go to the grid, or they all have to be sent by a card effect or to fusion, you know, what are we going to do with this? Well, the answer was simple. That grass looks greener. So this is our Tearalaments fusion pile, as we're going to call this, because you're just going to mill, and then do some fusion. So we have one Jizukuru with one Thunder King Kaiju, one Godarlo with one Radeon. We have two Shadal Beast with one Dragon. We have triple copies of Shaylen, triple copies of Squamata, one copy of Rhino Heart with triple Alistair the Invoker, two Ariel, and then we have triple copies of the Hoffians, triple copies of Wendy, two copies of Hedgehog, triple copies of Maxi. We have one Instant Fusion with two Grass Looks Greener, two Pot of Desires, triple Shadal Fusion, one Terraforming, triple Invocation, one Foolish Burial, triple Kaiju Slumber. We also have triple copies of El Shadal Fusion, two copies of Called by the Grave, two Super Polymerization, two Magical Meltdown, with one copy of the Ruined Realm, one Resh Shadal Incarnation, one Shadal Core, and two copies of the Busted Shadal Schism. Down here in the extra deck, we have one Makaba, two Construct with one Dragostopelia, one copy of Ogoides, and we have two copies of Epcalum, one copy of the Kitakalos, two copies of Winda, one Access Code with one Selene, one Umbral, one Gravity Controller, and one Artemis. Inside deck here, we actually have two Lord of Heavenly Sky Prison, one Pinkertops, two Lightning Storm with one Harvey's Feather Duster, two Dark Roll No More, one Artemis Slay actually made it in here, two Dynamiscus, two Torrential Tribute, and two copies of There Can Only Be One. Wrapping up, an interesting pile take here, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, this deck is so cool, but it's such an interesting thing to like pull off. And our last list here is Striker Therians. I love checking in on this deck every single week, because every time it gets a chance to do something, it's hilarious to me. So Mr. Regulux here is going to make this deck big someday. Trust me on this. Free Omni Negates are really good. So we have two copies of Regulus, triple copies of Ray, one Rose, triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, triple Maxi, triple copies of Effect Veiler with one Rhoda, two Engage, one Avarice, one Upstart, two Upstart, three Upstarts, must be nice OCG, one Terraforming, one Afterburners with one Linkage, one Droplet, one Shark Cannon with one Hornet Drones, two Widow Anchor, one Multi-Roll with one Area Zero. We have one Thurion's Ring with Coliseum Saucer, two Infinite Permanents, one Emptiness, two Summon Limit, and two copies of Imperial Iron Wall here, wrapping up the main deck. Then in the next deck, we have one Axis Machine, one Unicorn with one Selene, one Hulk, two Zeke, triple Hayate, two Kaina, one Kagari, and triple copies of Shizuku. Side deck here we have one Pinkertops, one Ghost Bell, one copy of Ghost Ogre, triple copies of Droll and Lockbird, one Harpy's Feather Duster, one Jamming Waves, two Mystical Space Typhoons, triple copies of Dimensional Bear, and two copies of Solemn Judgment here, wrapping up this chunk of OCG deck list for you guys. Anything really kind of catch your attention here? Personally, I don't think so. Splite going through like this crazy adaptability phase, and you know, coming out of the gate with such a simple engine is relatively amazing to me to see that. But that is what we're dealing with today. So what do you guys think? Please, if you comment down on Twitch, make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more awesome content. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.